Hello and welcome to the ST Squared podcast. I'm Andrew Willett, and of course, as always, I'm joined by our resident Suns fan, Mr. Jonah Freeman. Jonah, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. Episode 2, I'm excited.
Episode 2, we're going to recap the All-Star break a little bit. Here we're about a week out, and talked about some second half of the year predictions, post-All-Star break predictions. Jonah, let's kick it off.
What do you want to do first? I think we'll go right into skills challenge.
Skills challenge.
Winning that one.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
Not at all. I really thought Shy Gilgeous-Alexander was going to win, just because I just feel like he's kind of that complete player that you see in the skills challenge a lot, but it's not how it happened.
And I saw Spencer Dinwiddie because it really was Kobe's weekend this past weekend, and that was Dinwiddie's favorite player. That was one of the picks, but
I didn't expect it to be Sabonis and Adebayo. Part of me kind of wondered if a center would really make a push, but I didn't expect it to be two centers going head to head like that at all.
Well, Bam Dada is super skilled, and it was a big weekend for Miami.
Yeah, they had him, and then Derek Jones Jr. winning the debatable slam dunk contest.
Yep.
And then they had
an opportunity. We both picked him.
Yeah, they had an opportunity for the whole sweep there. Duncan Robinson, obviously I'm a big D Book fan, so I thought Book would win it, but other than him, he was probably my pick was Duncan Robinson, and he.
By the way, our resident Suns fan here is decked out in Devin Booker gear. He's got the All-Star name jersey from his first All-Star name.
Yep.
We'll get into that too, but no, Buddy healed. That was exciting.
It was fun. I wasn't even really upset that Book lost. He put up 2 good rounds, and he outshot Buddy in the first round, and then Buddy Hield just 1-point win. It was fun to watch. It's not often it comes down to the very last shot to decide a 3-point contest like that. I think the 3-point contest is always my favorite, because especially the way the league is so 3-point driven now. That
some of the shooters are just incredible now.
You'll see him go and rip 6 in a row. Like it's nothing to them. It's just so effortless. It's fun to watch.
And then diving real quick into the dunk contest, Aaron Gordon definitely deserved to win that, Jonah.
I don't know.
Yes, absolutely.
I like Derek Jones. I like it. I don't know. I think if Gordon was gonna walk out there and pull out Taco Fall, and I know that was not planned. it was kind of in the moment. Yeah, let's bring him out.
The dude got 5 50s in a row, Jonah.
But he didn't clear him. He didn't really clear him.
He pretty much did.
No, and he also was trying to make up for the fact he jumped over Chance the Rapper 3 of his dunks, and he's what, 5'8", 5'7". He's not tall. You got to make up for the height somehow. But dunk contest, I really not that it was terrible, but I feel like to start the dunk contest, I feel like they were handing out 50s a little too easily, which I think played a part in how they judged those last 3-4 dunks, because anything incredible should have been a 50 by the way it was. You know what I mean? There was no, maybe we'll give him a 48, keep it interesting. It was you almost had to give him a 50 if the dunk was even somewhat special, which was kind of surprising. In my personal opinion, I wish they would have ended it with Derek Jones 50, Aaron Gordon 50, to give them both a trophy, because they were both incredible the whole night. They didn't see it that way.
You can't have 2 winners, Jonah.
They were both ripping them off like that.
No way.
I don't know.
Moving on real quick to the All-Star game, which was incredible.
It was fun to watch.
The Elam ending with Kobe's number being added to the cumulative score.
Target score, yeah.
And then the charity being brought into it.
Sounds pretty certain that target score may be brought back next year, give it another year. So
it definitely should be. I think it was a huge success for the NBA.
Yeah, and then like you just said, charity. And looked like charity was kind of the biggest focus other than Kobe on that All-Star game. It was fun. You had Team LeBron's charity on one side, Team Giannis's charity on the other side, all watching. And after Team LeBron won, it was neat to see his selective charity rush the floor like you'd see in a college basketball game almost. And
those were kids from that charity, and so that was cool for them to be able to do that, because obviously
they don't get those opportunities as often as some of us do. So it was neat to see them there and getting that all-star treatment that they don't typically deserve, and not necessarily they don't deserve, but they don't get. So that's cool.
And the game was won by an Anthony Davis free throw. So let's get into some quick reforms For the upcoming All-Star games that we think should happen, we have a couple of ideas on what should be added, like some new competitions. But I think obvious rule change number 1 is that you can't end on a free throw.
Yeah, and I don't know if the solution is just maybe giving the team the ball at the top of the key, and it'd be kind of difficult. But I've been thinking about it. Obviously, Davis would have the huge advantage, but if Lowry's going to foul him, then why don't everyone goes to the side of the court and you stick Davis and Lowry up top and make them play one-on-one, like make Davis get a possession to try to earn that point with Lowry defending him, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you could just see giving the ball top of just reset. Because the issue, I think, if you just straight reset it and they just get the ball at the top, is you can just keep hacking if you don't like the situation. Like, you know what I mean?
It's a tricky spot for the referees.
Right.
What I saw Kendrick Perkins say on the jump was, you take 1 point away.
Right, and that is a good idea. You take a point away, because then it's not necessarily helping the other team out. You're just hurting yourself. So, I mean, yeah, it's helping the other team, but it's not like their score isn't being boosted. It's just pushing you further away. So I could see that. I think there's a lot of different things they could explore. I think the whole target score, resetting that, it was a good start in the right direction of making it more competitive and fun to watch for the fans. And obviously you have to be careful, because you don't want to see an All-Star they go down in the All-Star game. But it's fun to watch. You don't want to watch everyone just walking out there while someone's slamming it down. Like, dunks are fun, but that's what you have the dunk contest for. You know what I mean? So,
moving over to the dunk contest, and a reform I'd like to see there, and you just mentioned it, is the judging.
Right.
I think they did it right. They got the best 2 dunkers in the final round, Derrick Jones Jr. and Aaron Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe did in more player-based judging panels.
Yeah, and I don't know if necessarily you have to have all former dunk contest people, but definitely people that have the background of being high flyers, like that know the difficulty of. I mean, any dunk in game is it's going to be hard to get, but like maybe like taking it to the next level with people you see in the dunk contest, like having people with that experience being the judges there.
Absolutely. A couple of ideas. We've talked about this in the past, but like 1-on-1 or 10 on the court.
Yeah.
Those would be some cool additions.
It's fun to watch the highlights from Team USA mini camps of players going at it like that. I think it'd be awesome to have that at like the national stage with everyone watching, for sure.
Maybe that. You mentioned horse.
I think, if I remember right, I think that kind of was its own game. So obviously that didn't necessarily work out how the league wanted it to. But I think it'd be neat to give it another shot. But I mean, nowadays, I don't know. Horse is almost like a little kid's game, so it would be kind of hard to necessarily bring it to the level of an NBA player and have like a consistent audience like getting excited for it. But you never know. I mean, like I said, All-Star Weekend is probably my favorite All-Star event as far as the major sports go. Like Home Run Derby, that's cool. Other All-Star games. Pro Bowl means virtually nothing to me, in all honesty.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the All-Star Weekend for the NBA is probably the biggest of them all, and they already have a good foundation built for it. It's just interesting to see how they want to continue like building that up to be an even bigger event.
And the NBA, they hit it out of the park this year, and in the years past, just making some changes that really were out of the box. And I know I didn't love the splitting of East and West,
Right.
but they've really gotten it to work out. And on this weekend, to commemorate Kobe Bryant, they hit a home run on it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was fun to watch a competitive game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool next year, especially this coming year, and All-Star Game comes to Indy. So it'll be neat to see.
Speak it into existence right now, Jonah. I'm going to be there covering it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so All-Star Weekend recap. Let's just dive right into it. And these predictions we're about to give you are going to be based off of what we saw the first half of the season, kind of translate those almost as if these people kept up doing what they were doing, here are our picks. So I'll let Andrew start. Coach of the Year, who do you have? And both of us, really, we kind of unanimous between us two. So go ahead.
Well, I'd like to start off before we get into these predictions with it's been a really fun start fun 2019-2020 season.
Yeah. With
all of the competitive balance now.
Yeah.
I know the ratings aren't loving it, but I really enjoyed. You don't know who's going to win the title.
Right.
There are a
It's
lot of
neat
different options.
to see how open the league is for once. And I know that the Raptors won it last year, but it almost seemed like the Warriors were shoo-in. So it made the regular season not necessarily super interesting because it's kind of like the end result. So it was nice to see the Raptors come in and take the throne from them, but it adds a whole different element of fun to watch whenever hey, this team could come out and win it. Hey, this team could come out and win it. Like, you don't know who's going to come out and win it in the end. So we'll get into our picks for that later, but it is neat to see it be so open. It's been fun.
Coach of the Year, we both decided Nick Nurse.
Yes, and there are definitely other options out there, but I think losing Kawhi, losing Danny Green, they haven't skipped a beat at all.
It led the Raptors to a 41-15 record.
Right, and that's second in the West. I don't think anyone catches Milwaukee, but they're 6.5 back from Milwaukee. It is possible if Milwaukee slips up. The Raptors are playing incredible. They just pummeled my Suns last night, but we won't necessarily talk about that one.
No, I needed your Suns to get me a win over in Toronto so Boston could move up, but Raptors are just doing outstanding in the Eastern Conference. We've talked about a couple of other candidates. I think Brad Stevens having a great year. No one saw
always.
Eric Spoelstra. No one saw those two teams being where they are right now.
No.
And same with the Raptors. And that's why we have Nick Nurse as our Coach of the Year. But I can't believe we haven't talked about Mike Budenholzer.
Yeah, speaking of the Raptors, trying to catch the Bucks, it's like the reason it doesn't seem likely.
We just forget about them.
Yeah, they're on pace to be one of the best teams that come through the league.
Over 70 wins is what they're projected for.
Obviously, you want to give credit to Coach Bud, but I think a lot of that comes from Giannis being Giannis. And that's no knock to Bud, but I think it's kind of the same. You almost see the same team as last year as far as Milwaukee goes in a way. So it's not like they had major changes that they're having to overcome all these different things. It's like I think the Raptors had more adversity that they've faced, and they've handled it well, and obviously they're playing at a high level. So that's, in my opinion, why Nick Nurse wins Coach of the Year.
And Giannis being Giannis, let's get right down to the MVP talk.
That's both of our MVP picks here, I think. I
Giannis
like Giannis for sure. Averaging 30 a game, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. Bucks are 47-8. Like you just said, they could end up having over 70 wins, which is incredible, led by Giannis. So it's neat.
He's averaging those numbers on only 31 minutes a night, and the Bucks are absolutely destroying.
Right, and it's not even like he's hit his peak. Like, Giannis could still get so much better, which is honestly scary. And knowing that maybe in the next couple of years he could decide to leave Milwaukee, that completely could shake the whole NBA for a lot of years.
Yeah, it could.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'd like to see the Bucks win a championship or two with Giannis there. I think Giannis deserves it. He obviously has worked super hard. It'd be neat to see.
Being a Celtics fan, I absolutely disagree with you. But our MVP pick was Giannis. I think LeBron James is very, very close.
Oh yeah, it really depends on.
It takes the Bucks slipping up a couple of games.
It depends on the whole winning situation, which you've seen the NBA value in All-Star game and in these picks. Like, you have to be on a winning team to be recognized. So if the Bucks do slip up, you could see someone like LeBron James come in there. It's definitely possible. The Lakers are the one seed as of right now in the Western Conference.
They're only a few games behind the Bucks. So really, if the Milwaukee slips up a little bit, LeBron is doing that well. And year 17, just incredible. So I think he's close, but our pick was Giannis.
Right, and then this is where we both kind of have a little disagreement here as far as most improved player goes. Me personally, I like Bam Adebayo.
I picked Brandon Ingram.
And I think the thing that separates Adebayo and Ingram from me is, like we just mentioned, is the whole winning thing. Is Adebayo is averaging 16 points a game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and he's doing this for a team like the Heat, who are 35-20. No one expected the Heat to be at that point. You know what I mean? He was a first-time All-Star this year. So Adebayo's taken big leaps. He's up 7 points from last year, up 3 rebounds from last year, up 3 assists from last year. The stat difference is there. But at the same time, if it weren't for the fact that the Heat were having the year they're having, I personally would pick Brandon Ingram, just because I think the change of environment has helped him out tremendously. He's played, obviously he was an All-Star this year too, for the first time So both are all-stars. They both made big jumps. I just think the winning is what gives me the edge for Adebayo over Ingram.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Bam has been outstanding in Miami. Miami has shot everyone this year.
Right.
And so that's fair. But you looked at Brandon Ingram. He's gone from 18.3 points per game to 24.7.
Right.
He's been an impact player over in New Orleans.
And you're seeing the Pelicans start to kind of bring things together. They're going to end up being a team that's going to make a push for that 8 spot down the road, for sure. So he's been a key reason to that. So we'll see. I mean, again, it depends. If Miami slips up to that 6 or 7 spot and the Pelicans come up to that 8 spot, Ingram's going to have a good shot. I think both of these guys, it's going to come down neck and neck regardless. I don't think winning necessarily is going to be the deciding factor. I think both of these guys have good cases.
I agree. And you also look at players like Malcolm Brogdon in Indiana, Devontae Graham in Charlotte.
And then the jump Siakam is still making year
yeah,
to year.
Like he won Most Improved Player last year, and he has been that much better this year, to where like you could really make an argument for him to win this award.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just I don't know. It's just the seasons Adebayo and Ingram are having. It's incredible. But obviously, like you said, Siakam is going to be someone that's there to end the year. So we'll see. And then Rookie of the Year, I think as of right now, both of us
pretty
like Ja
unanimous.
Morant, right? But we can see that change, for sure. If Zion keeps playing the way he's played. I mean, last night he had another incredible game. So we're going to see. Zion could definitely be on the way. But
it's really that argument. Like, it was kind of the same thing with Joel Embiid and Malcolm Brogdon a few years ago. When Brogdon won Rookie of the Year, Embiid was in the debate, but he did not get it because he didn't play nearly as much games.
Right, the body of work for Ja Morant has been a lot. He's been there this whole year being the anchor of this team.
And led them to the 8th seed in the West.
Right.
That's a playoff team.
He's a rookie playing like a veteran guard who's been in the league for 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely.
He has stepped into a young team and literally been the leader of that team, which you don't see often. And so that's not necessarily a knock on Zion, but I think Zion on his team has a lot more guys that are veteran guys that kind of know how to lead a team, where Ja Morant has been a leader for his team as a rookie.
Absolutely.
So, averaging 18 points a game, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, you don't see that as a rookie very often. Whenever Dame announced that he wasn't going to play an All-Star game, I think it really came down to Ja Morant and Devin Booker to see who was going to take his spot. And you don't see rookies like that even in the conversation.
No. Luka was close last year, but
yeah.
Other than him, it's really Ja is in uncharted territory, and I think Zion is somewhat the same. It would take. I think we both agree that if New Orleans does catch that 8th seed,
it's going to make it definitely extremely interesting.
Because no more Ja in the playoffs, and Zion is playing outstanding.
And the hype Zion brings around him, and the name he has in the media, is going to help him a lot too.
He's a highlight player
for sure. And then I know Andrew's excited to talk about this. Defensive player in the year, Andrew. I'll go ahead and rattle it off here.
Marcus Smart, and Marcus Smart, Jonah.
And Rudy Gobert.
I guess he can be in the running. Marcus Smart does it all.
Right.
He can guard guards, of course, being 6'4", but he also has the strength and the build to guard big men down low. We saw him play against Kevin Love. He can be a small ball 5, which is crazy.
Right.
All the hustle he plays with all the time. And
you talked about that career high he had against the Suns and that loss to the Suns. He's obviously that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with
Funny you
defense.
Point that one out, Jonah.
But I feel like, honestly, you guys have had some bad memories about the Suns recently.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys lost. The Suns lost that game, but Book dropped 70 on the Celtics.
Avery Bradley didn't play.
Ulyss had a game winner against you guys 3 years ago.
Yeah, I hated that game.
It was, we kind of have you guys' number.
Okay. All right. But no, Marcus Smart is the defensive player of the year this year. I know guys like Rudy Gobert are going to be in the conversation, but it's time to give Marcus Smart the credit he deserves. He obviously led that first team all defense last season, but no, he deserves it.
Right. And then we can go down down to, I guess, 6th man of the year. And I like Dennis Schroeder. Personally, I really like Dennis Schroeder.
I've heard your argument on this. I think I agree.
Yeah. I think, obviously, someone like Lou Will is going to be there every year. Like, the production he brings every single year is incredible. And, he's going to have that. And I know Schroeder's not necessarily the leader like that Chris Paul would be, but Dennis Schroeder's coming in as the 6th man, and he's giving the same stat lines that Chris Paul is giving on a nightly basis. He's literally a Chris Paul coming off the bench, and Chris Paul was an all-star this year.
Yep.
Schroeder's giving you 19 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He's being a starting point guard coming off the bench night in, night out for a Thunder team that they're making a run right now.
They are the 6th seed in the West, and they are a game and a half back from the 5 seed.
Right, and it's a team like Dallas had that 5 seed locked up, it seemed like. And now,
but then injuries brought them down.
So now, the Thunder are now in a tie with Dallas to take the 6th seed overall. And then a team like the Rockets is going to be interesting to see how they fare down the year with their small ball investment. That could be a team the Thunder end up jumping ahead of. So, and I don't think any of this happens without Schroeder being how Schroeder has been this year. Not many teams can say they have a guard that's going to come off the bench and give you 24 and 4 a game. You know what I mean?
I would 100% agree.
And then, you want to just All-NBA teams? You want to rattle off 1st, 2nd, 3rd team All-NBA?
Let's do it.
All right, I'll let you go first. 1st team All-NBA.
My 1st team All-NBA, James Harden, Luka Doncic. There's a argument Anthony Davis could be a center on this team, but it's either him or Nikola Jokic to go with LeBron and Giannis.
I like that.
Where do you disagree with there?
I think I put Damian Lillard in that guard spot over James Harden, and part of that comes from bias because I don't like watching Harden play. But then some of that also comes from the fact Damian Lillard's putting up similar stats, if not better at times.
This injury did into that.
On 10 less shots a game, truthfully.
Yeah.
And Damian Lillard's a name you got to watch when it comes to the MVP, because the stats he's been putting up recently, if the Trailblazers kind of find a way to get back in that playoff spot, he's going to be a name you have to watch to coming and taking the MVP, because he's been playing out of his mind recently. So that's why, in my personal opinion, Damian Lillard takes that other guard spot. And then I see Davis, Davis is listed as a forward, so I have Davis on my 2nd team as a forward.
Go ahead and list off your All-NBA second team.
Right, so I have that Jokic as that center spot for the 1st team. And then my 2nd team is 2 guards, James Harden, Kemba Walker, 2 forwards, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, and then at center, Joel Embiid.
And this is, I think Jimmy Butler is a guard.
Yeah, and it depends on how you look at that. Technically, NBA lists him as a forward, but, he plays a guard spot. So it just kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we're in agreement through the 4 spots. You have Kemba Walker. He's on my 3rd team, the first guard on my 3rd team. But I put Jimmy Butler up there. He's doing outstanding things in Miami. We're pretty much in agreement on our 10 guys in there. And then All-NBA 3rd team. Like I said, I have Kemba Walker as my guard. I gave Kyle Lowry the nod to go with Pascal Siakam and Chris Middleton as my forwards. And I guess if you have to have a center in there, Rudy Gobert.
Right, and I think it goes back to the fact, if you don't view Jimmy Butler as a guard, he maybe comes down there and takes a 3rd team forward spot from someone like Chris Middleton, and you hate to see that because Middleton's having a good year, but he probably takes Middleton's spot, which leaves another guard spot open, which is where I have Bradley Beal, because I view Jimmy Butler as a forward, which is why he's a forward on my 3rd team. I have Lowry, Beal, Butler, Siakam, and Gobert. So it literally just depends where you view these players at as far as position-wise in a day and age where positions don't really matter as much as they used to. So that's why, and I know the whole winning thing, it's tough, but the numbers Beal has put up this year is why I gave him that nod to be on the All-NBA 3rd team.
I agree. And the leadership, it's a rough go for him.
In the future, though, you got to look at it. If Beal keeps this up, and I don't know what John Wall we're going to see when he comes back.
True.
But if John Wall comes back even 3/4 the player he was, then you got Hachimura, you have Bertans if they somehow bring him back. You have
He is a restricted free agent.
right. You have
They have his rights.
Schofield. You know, you have Thomas Bryant. Like they have a good core themselves to make some noise in the upcoming years if Wall can come back and play at a good level. So Beal is someone who eventually could get back up to those first team levels. You know, so that's why I have him.
I completely agree.
Third spot.
And really, when I was getting into this All-NBA teams, I looked throughout the league and made a list of, and I got 27 guys who I thought were absolutely deserving of an All-NBA spot. Okay?
Yeah.
But I had, and really where we disagree is you have Jimmy Butler over Chris Middleton. I just looking at Chris Middleton's stats, he's playing under 30 minutes a game on the best team in the league, averaging nearly 21 a game on 50% shooting, 44.5% from three. That's insane.
I think the thing that gives me Butler over Middleton is I think the Heat are playing too good to not have an All-NBA player, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, Bucks already have theirs. They have Giannis up there, obviously. So I think the Heat have played at a level they need an All-NBA player. So in my opinion, if it came down to Middleton or Butler, I'd probably give it to Jimmy Butler. But I totally see what you're saying as far as production level goes. So
we're pretty much in agreement there.
and the thing that it makes it hard with having to have a center on that team is, like Andrew said, there's so many players on all these teams that are deserving of All-NBA spots, probably have had better years over Gobert, but won't get the All-NBA team nod because you have to have like the center spot in there. So
Yes.
it makes it hard for sure.
I don't know that Rudy Gobert is deserving of a top 15 in the NBA spot, but
Right.
I think he'll get it just off the fact that All-NBA takes centers.
Right. And again, coming back to Adebayo's going to have a chance to come in there and take it. Sabonis
true.
maybe has a chance to
That's
come
a
in
good
there
point
and
too.
take it.
Sabonis is averaging nearly like over 13 rebounds a night,
Yeah.
which is off the charts.
And what he's done to step up, and him and Brogdon together has kind of been a combined effort. Can't leave out TJ Warren. Like, what Indiana has done trying to cover for Victor Oladipo's production that they didn't have since his injury, like I think that makes it even more impressive that he had to step up, and he did. Like, he's delivered when they've needed him to deliver, which is, like, it's incredible, which is why I think you have to, like, give some of those other guys, like, a spot, you know, like recognition for a spot. So, and then, so there's our All-NBA teams. We can go through our first and second All-Rookie teams. I mean, both of these teams, I mean, it's kind of hard. There's obviously rookies are hard to give a full like teams for. So me and Andrew both kind of looked in these together, and like both of us agreed on these teams. I guess there's no real disagreements here. So,
Our only trouble was there aren't
center
many
spot.
centers.
Yeah. So first team we have John Morant, Kendrick Nunn, Zion Williamson, Hachimura, and P.J. Washington. And again, P.J. Washington is more of a forward, but I think he's had a better year so far than Jackson Hayes, which is why we gave him that center spot nod. If you need a true center, then you'd probably have to go with Hayes there as far as center production goes. But that's why we gave P.J. Washington that spot on the first team. And then I'll let you rattle off the second team spot.
Second team, we had R.J. Barrett to go with Tyler Hero. Get both of those Miami rookie guards in there. They've been playing outstanding.
Yep.
Miami really just been off the charts the past year.
Right.
They've had a great year.
Moves. They've made all the right moves
Yep.
they needed to.
And that trade at the deadline was really good too. And they lost their first game against Atlanta out of the break, but I really think it'll work out for them.
Trae Young played out of his mind that game.
50 points.
You don't win many games when an opposing player is going to put up 50.
Is Atlanta gonna give us what we wanna see and make us all pit them for the playoffs?
No.
Next season.
I hope not. No.
Trey, hey, those two rookies they didn't make our all rookie teams, but they had a good night. Anyway, back to the all rookie second team. Brandon Clark over in Memphis, Sakau Doumbouya in Detroit. He was a phenomenal find. Another one of those guys like Pascal Siakam that you find from Africa. And then we had Jackson Hayes to get a center in there.
Right. And then again, if you want to give Washington that center spot, the first team, you could even possibly look at a guy like Brandon Clark taking that from him, because Clark, again, like John Morant, has came in and given, like he's playing like he did at Gonzaga, but he's doing it in the league, truthfully.
Yeah.
So you have to make a case for him up there too. I mean, both are playing extremely high levels as rookies. I mean, all these guys are. That's why they're there.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, how they end up affecting playoff pushes.
It's a pretty good rookie class,
right?
But
and they need that rookie class because I don't know if this upcoming class is going to deliver.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it should surprise a little bit.
Yeah. And then last thing we want to hit on is who's your favorite to win the NBA Finals this year?
I think you can't make the conversation without including the Milwaukee Bucks in this.
Right.
I think they are my favorite to win the NBA Finals just because of how dominant they have been. They've been this dominant for 2 years now. They were Fred VanVleet away from being in the NBA Finals last season, and I think they've got what it takes now with LeBron and Kawhi now out of the Eastern Conference to get there.
Yep.
And we'll see what Giannis has on the biggest stage because the All-Star game.
That is the thing that is the big question mark for me, and that's why I picked the Clippers to win it because, in my opinion, I think the Bucks are better than the Clippers. But you saw he didn't play terrible, but Giannis definitely struggled in the playoffs last year.
Against Kawhi Leonard
right.
and the Clippers.
So it depends on if there's a team in the East that can find a way, maybe even like Siakam, it might be his turn, you know what I mean, to try to step up. If someone can find a way to contain Kawhi, or not Kawhi, to contain Giannis.
And you know Toronto
bit,
believes that they have what it takes. Because they did it last year.
It all depends on Giannis's play. So, but because we don't know the Giannis we're going to see, that's why I picked the Clippers to win it all.
We each see the Clippers and the Bucks get into the finals.
Right.
But they obviously don't have easy roads to get there.
No.
In the East or the West.
I was about to say, you can't just take LeBron James out of the conversation. You can't necessarily take James Harden out of the conversation. Like, there's so many teams, like we said in this open year, that could make a push, and we could be wrong on all these. But
it's true, and we'll get to talking about Houston in a later episode, but I am excited to see what they do with this small ball experiment.
I don't know if it works. I think teams find a way to counter it, me personally. So I don't know if you really think of Houston as necessarily a contender as much now. I think they were better with Capella.
I would disagree. So that'll be interesting to see. But no, we both see the Clippers and the Bucks. Jonah's got the Clippers winning it all. I've got Milwaukee to win it all. Obviously, I hope Boston can pull something out because they've got I think they've got everything they need.
Yeah.
They might just be a couple of years away.
I think they're a better team with Kemba over Kyrie, which I think gives them, I think that helps them out a lot because I think Kemba just seems like he's one of those guys. He's always going to be solid regardless.
Oh, yeah.
So I think you can almost count on seeing Kemba Walker deliver in the playoffs.
It just comes down to, is Jason Tatum our best player, and is he ready for that yet?
Right. And also, you got to look at, is Gordon Hayward going to be a stud in the playoffs?
He stepped up in the first game out of the All-Star break last night, scoring 29 points. Boston, actually, they had 4 guys scoring 25 and 5.
Right. I mean, there are so many key players on so many key teams that you have to look for impact at because, like we've been talking about, it's so open this year. You don't know what's going to happen. So, I mean, I like the Clippers. Andrew likes the Bucks. I mean,
we'll see.
Yeah. And then before we go, just probably a lot of you guys are probably here because of Twitter. But if you're not already following us on Twitter, you can follow us at ST2. We just kind of live tweet throughout some games, just kind of voice our NBA opinions. I mean, I posted earlier that this episode is coming soon, so we'll kind of update you guys when there's new episodes coming out. So just make sure you're following us there. And Instagram's on the way soon. So.
And as always, you can find us on YouTube.
Right, and that's where you're at right now. So just keep finding us here. Keep looking, keep checking.
Smalltown Sportstalk.
ST2.
Thank you very much for listening. If you made it this far, I'm Andrew Willett.
Jonah Freeman, resident Suns fan.
Let's do it. Episode 2. Thank you so much.